Jos and Plateau State have been in a lot of challenges for some time now. Several people have been killed, and all the stories that we hear from Jos the last few years have been serious killings and so forth. And of course, these problems, we are told, did not just start the last few years. They've been there for a very long time. And so I have today with me in the studio Barrister Nankin Bagudu, the founder and chief executive of the League for Human Rights, whose organization has been taking note or been involved in trying to understand these things that are happening. Barrister Nankin Bagudu, you are welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, I want to ask you, what really is happening on the plateau, especially in the rural areas?
Yeah, well, very sadly, in the past 10, 15 years, there has been large-scale killing of helpless farmers in many farming communities in parts of Plateau State, most especially the South, Bokos local government, Bassa local government, Mango local government, Rion local government, and some extent, some part of Southern Plateau, such as Lantan South, Wase, and Shandam. And this problem has persisted because innocent farmers have been killed in their houses, in their farmland, and on their way to the market. It has happened last week. They were even on a mourning period trying to bury a dead one when they were attacked by terrorists and killed. So it has been a sad commentary on Plateau in the past 10, 15 years, or even 20 years.
Now, you said this crisis have taken a lot of lives and so forth. What really, what numbers are you going to put as to the people that have been affected by this crisis, especially the ones in the rural areas?
Well, we have not had a proper record of those who have been killed in the rural areas. Last week, the people that were killed in Bokos local government area were put about 102. But it covers about 15 to 16 villages. And before that time, there were killings in Bassa local government, particularly the Mango area. And before that time, in December 2023, people were also killed in Mango, a part of Bokos. Because of very poor record keeping in Nigeria, it's difficult to give an exact number of people that have been killed. But the number is quite big, particularly it involves women and children and able men. And it's quite astronomical because even one life that has been killed illegally is wrong, because the Constitution of Nigeria provides that everybody has a right to life, and nobody can take that life except as provided by the law. So it has gone on for a long period of time, and we don't have a proper record yet of how much has been killed.
Now, I want to ask you, if you look at the records that we have from 2001 to date, that is nearly 24 years. 24 years, this problem has been on the plateau. Why really is this problem so protracted on the plateau?
Well, you know, Plateau is a very beautiful landscape with a lot of people. Just particularly has been a settled city right from 1917. It attracted so many people from all over the world, as miners, as lawyers, as geologists, as engineers, as civil servants, and so on and so forth. And so just has a very large population of people from diverse groups. And during the mining period in the early 20s, 1920s, the white settlers brought a lot of miners from across the country to come and work in the clean mines. So this has brought some friction among various interest groups, and also increasing scarce resources, increasing fight for land, for various kind of interests. So over the years, there has been friction, there has been conflict, and this conflict has become deadly. Then 2001, when a major crisis erupted in Jos.
That crisis that took place in 2001, what really caused it?
It was a minor issue. A woman who was staying in Congo, Russia, was going to pass through a prayer ground where normally on Fridays, the Muslims, when they want to pray, there's always an overflow on the mosque. So they always occupy the road when they are praying. And this lady wanted to pass through the prayer ground to go to her house, and she was blocked. And she insisted on passing on that ground. That was the beginning of the crisis. After the prayers, the Muslims felt offended, and then they started demonstrating in the town, protesting against the fact that this woman did not respect their religion by insisting on passing through a temporary praying ground. And that sparked off crises and killings. And happened just a week before the 9/11 crisis in New York, where the Twin Towers were bombed. So that became a very major flashpoint in Plateau State, and it cost a lot of lives because the fighting took on a religious dimension, and it sparked off a lot of crises that were buried on the ground, I mean, among people's mind. And the scale of killing was shocking because many innocent people were passing through Jos who were belonging to the wrong religion, or those who were in the wrong part of Jos, caught up, were killed ruthlessly.
Now, talking about that, if we look at what happened, if you follow up, you discover that almost every other year, from that 2001
Yes.
to last year,
Yes.
there have been some convulsions on the plateau. Let's take a count at it. What will you recall from 2001? Which
Yes,
other years?
2001, it happened in the city of Jos. 2004, it happened. 2008, it happened. 2009, 2010, it happened. And it happened across various governors that ruled this state. Then from 2008, it left from the city center or the cities, or the urban area, into the villages, into the communities, and then it spread across. So it took a different dimension. But all the governors that ruled Plateau State in this dispensation, 1999 to now, have had to cope with such challenges that they faced. At the point, with time of Goodluck Jonathan, he even declared a state of emergency on Plateau, even though he didn't remove the governor, but the state of emergency was declared to help address the challenges. And the army has set up a task force to address that problem, but up to now, the problem has continued. But thank God that now it don't happen in the urban areas, but it's happening more and more in the villages, where people are helpless, people are at the mercy of terrorists and kidnappers and killers.
Now, you spoke about the military. What is your assessment of the efforts by security agencies to address those killings?
They have tried their best because they have permanent presence in many parts of Plateau, in Bokos, in Mangu, in Miango area, that is Bassa local government area, in Southern Zone. They are all over. They have checkpoints, they have permanent, semi-permanent places where they are occupied. Their presence has assisted in a long way to address some of the challenges. But many parts of Plateau State are quite difficult to access. They are mountainous, they have very rugged road, very poor infrastructure. In such cases, it's very difficult for the army to be able to cover this ground. And some places that we have vigilantes, but the vigilantes are helpless because they're not armed, so they cannot confront these people who have very strong sophisticated arms. Some of them even have rocket launchers, and so they are not be able to address this problem in the long term. And the worst part of it is that these killers and these terrorists and these foreigners have taken over parts of the land of Plateau. And these areas, as the governor has pointed out, they're not be able to access this place. So it's a big problem for all of us.
Yeah, we've been speaking with Barrister Nankin Bagudu, the founder and chief executive of the League for Human Rights. Now, back to you, Barrister Bagudu. You spoke, you repeated what the governor said, that some villages or some settlements have been taken over. In which local government areas are these settlements that have been taken over?
Yes, they are mostly in Riom and in Barkin Ladi and parts of Bassa local government area. In fact, the governor specifically mentioned 64 communities. About 10 years ago, the Bureau Association came to my office. We prepared a petition to that effect. That I think the name of the village is Kui settlement in Lyon was taken over and renamed as Mahanga, and that Mahanga has now become a settlement for people who are not part of Plateau, who came in and took over the community. And it's a very serious problem because anytime they attack a community, they burn it down, destroy the houses, and they come and settle there and take over the place. They farm there, they do illegal mining, and take over the community. So it's a very big problem, and that's why people are looking at it as an act of genocide, because they want to clean away the indigenous community from that community and take over the place. So it's a big challenge that all of us are facing in this state.
Now, let's move over to last year. It was Mangu, and this time Bokos. In Bokos, some years ago, the traditional ruler, the paramount traditional ruler, first class chief, was killed. Yeah. Why is there so much focus in those areas?
Yeah, it's straightforward. Number one, these areas have some of the best grasses for feeding of cows. They also have various mineral resources that are being mined illegally, and they have vast arable land, and they have some of the best rivers, because most of the rivers that supply water even to this Kaduna State, they come from the Plateau Highland. So these places are very good for cattle, they're very good for mining, they're very good for other activities. Even most of the what they call in Hausa kayan lambu, things that you grow in the garden, they're very available. There are potatoes are there. Mango and Bokos is the biggest producer of potato in Nigeria. So all these items, bell pepper, green pepper, and all manner of items are produced in these villages, in these communities, and therefore it's a very big mining area. Farming area. That's why they're very attractive, and that's why people come for as far as outside Nigeria to come and stay in those places and take over the place by force.
Are you suggesting that this is, after all, an economic conflict, a resource-based conflict?
It's fight over resources, fight over control of who controls a particular area, and that is actually the underlying reason what is happening. They want to deprive the people who are originally in that place, and then take over the place by force and use it for economic benefit. That's the real motive.
Yeah. Now, talking about the people whose villages and settlements have been taken over, where are they staying now?
Many of them are staying in IDP camps, in primary schools, in churches, some in various institutions that are around those areas. And some have been able to go and stay with their relations and their brothers and sisters in various parts of Plateau State, some even outside. And there are a few cases where some of them have moved out of Jos into Abuja. And it's a big challenge for the government in those circumstances.
So what, in your opinion, should we be looking at as a solution to this problem?
It's straightforward. The federal government will work with the state government to establish state police. This is unpalatable to other people in Abuja. But when the southern governor started talking about state police, many people in the north didn't like it. But it caught up gradually in the middle belt and also caught up in the north. Now, every governor has agreed. I think very few governors have pondered the issue. So I think that we should go beyond when crisis happen, the state government condemns, federal government condemns, we should all manner of press statements. After that, the various people in Abuja come and visit, go to the hospitals, go to the IDP camps, go to the villages. After that, everything calms down. If we are serious about solving this problem, let the federal government and the state government establish state police, so that you have a state police. When this thing is done, within 3 months, 6 months, this problem will be solved across the country.
Yeah, I'm curious. How many people have been arrested or taken to court over these attacks and killings?
Well, most times these arrests, these people have been arrested. Even last week, I think the governor said about people that were arrested, about 7. But most times, there are a lot of vested interest that affecting this thing. One time, I was at the state CID when the crisis happened in Barr local government, and one of the policemen told me, the hiring policeman told me that, look, if somebody came to the station, I said, look at this man. The man is now is late. Look at this man has come now. That all these people that were arrested, who are involved in this crisis, the next thing we hear that we're going to get a call from Abuja that they should refer the case to Abuja. And between Jos and Abuja, the people will disappear. They'll be released. So there are very few cases that are going to court because of high interest. I remember when the listener to Danton died, something happened. People were very hopeful that the perpetrators of his killing will be brought to book. Nothing happened. The result died in vain. House Assembly member Gian Fulani also died in vain. At that time, there was the army was after Danton died, the army gave an order that all the people who are in those surrounding villages in Bakiladi to evacuate. They would do a military operation to clear the place of terrorists. When the effort was being made, another call came from Abuja that the military should cut off that operation. And that's how the operation was cut off. So there are a lot of high stake interest in what's happening in this state. And people at the top are benefiting from what's happening, therefore they don't want the right to be done. That's why we said, let's have a state police in this state. So that those who are arrested, the state government can prosecute them right in Jos. People cannot commit an offense in Plateau and then you take them to Abuja for prosecution. At the end of the day, nothing happens. I think that is the way out because the state government is helpless. Because the police is under the federal government and most times the interest at the top is very, very high. And when the police commissioner gets a directive from the top to hands off a case, you cannot do anything about it.
Are you suggesting that the compromise based on the things that instructions from Abuja is yes, increasing the security challenges?
Exactly, it's happening in this state. In fact, I think the governor of Zamfara also complained about a week or two ago about the same issue of high-level interest from above. A society where group interest or personal interest overrides human life, it's not a good society at all. So most of the time, that's what's happening. Because as a lawyer for almost 35 years, I know what happens in the legal system and the interests that are at stake when people are arrested. When people are arrested, the person that asks is not the person that's committed, but asking where does it come from. Then they begin to bring the network, make contact, and this man will not be disgraced. This man should be left. This man should look for technicalities and leave him. So what's happening? I was there when somebody was arrested in what happened in Mangu. They brought him to the state CID, and then he confessed of going to kill. So we go to the church to kill a pastor. He confessed in my presence. He was there part of the gang that killed the pastor. Pack his property. When they packed the property from the pastor's house, they were trying to pack what's over from Mangu to Gindri. They were arrested at a checkpoint with a mattress, with television, and the people from that community identified their items as their own. But the matter died. That's about 2 years ago. Nothing has happened out of it. So you can see the high stake.
The man was not charged to court.
We went to court. I was there. I'm not saying it because he has I was at the station that day at the CID when they brought him. So it's a very big problem in Nigeria.
But the powers to prosecute at that level is with the state government. It's not with the police.
No, the police under the state government. You know, normally when the person is arrested, the file is taken. You know, they do the investigation. After the investigation, they take the matter to the state Ministry of Justice that prepares the document that is to court. But the police investigation itself can be scuttled because when the police investigating and then charging the man to court, taking the part to the Ministry of Justice, then there's little that can be done. So when at the level of investigation, there's interference at the top, they can find an excuse of not completing the investigation. That's what happens. So have a federal police, have a state police.
Given this, as we run off, I want to ask you, given the situation that we have now, what do you think is the outlook? Because there appears to be no immediate hope that these challenges will not continue.
You know, there's some sicknesses that you need Panadol. Some sicknesses you need surgery. The challenge of crisis in Nigeria needs a surgery. And the solution is straightforward. Let us have state police. If we don't have state police, the next 5 years, 10 years, we'll keep speaking about some issue. Unfortunately, more life will be lost. People are being kidnapped every day. People are being maimed every day. People are being ruined every day. And we know the solution to the problem. Nobody has the courage to address that problem in the long term. We know what happened in Uromi. We know what happened all over the country. There's no day that people don't pay ransom in this country for kidnapping. And the solution is there, but nobody wants to have the courage to solve the problem. So as long as we remember who we are, I don't think the problem will be solved in the long term. Except where we state police in this country. Let's put aside the vested interest of interest groups in this country. Let's solve this problem once and for all. Because without security, Nigeria cannot move forward. The world is changing very fast, and Nigeria and Africa is still groping the dark. It's very, very sad as a country.
Well, as a final word, what do you think can be done besides the state police, creation of the state police?
Yes, I think that there should be less interference at the national level. The work that's going on at the various police stations, at the various army groups, at the various interests at the state level. Let us look at this country as our own, and let us value human life. Let us value things that we stand for as a country. I'm sure that our founding fathers will be turning in shame in their graves what happened to Nigeria after 60-something years of independence. And I think that let every Nigerian be patriotic. Let us love this country. Let us be concerned about our future. Let us value human life. Let us see how we can work as a group to solve problems in this country in the long term. Because without solving this problem, we cannot move forward. We will still be groping in the dark. And the next 5 years, we will still be coming back, making the same argument.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. Thank you for coming to speak with us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, in the last few minutes, we've been speaking with Barrister Nankin Bagudu on the situation in Plateau State. Hope you join us again for another round of discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.